KORK North Bay, your source for news and happenings throughout the North Bay.
Hello and thanks for watching KORK North Bay TV. Coming up is our weekly wrap covering all the news stories and happenings that took place this past week throughout the greater San Francisco North Bay. In Santa Rosa on Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a man walked into the Bank of America on West Steel Lane right across the street from Cottingtown Mall and handed one of the tellers a note and a bag. According to the report, the note demanded money in a threatening way, but the next thing you know, the guy turned around and walked out of the bank, leaving his note and his bag behind. Officers arrived on scene to get the man's description, then began patrolling the area to see if they could locate him. But rather than the eyes of an officer spotting him, he was captured on one of the flock license plate reading cameras in the area, which showed him walking down West Steel Lane. So a radio call went out to units in the area who located him walking down Administration Drive and Paulin Drive, where he was taken into custody without incident. He was identified as 38-year-old Ngasim Gabre, a transient in the area. Ironically, that location is only 2 blocks away from the Sonoma County Sheriff's Department headquarters, as well as the county jail facility. So officers gave Mr. Gabre a lift the 2 blocks down the road to the jail, where he was booked on charges of attempted robbery and violation of parole. In San Rafael on Wednesday, a teacher at San Rafael High School was arrested after allegations that he had arranged a meeting with a minor for sex. The suspect was identified as 35-year-old Kevin Allen, who's a drama teacher at the high school. Detectives at the San Rafael Police Department have been investigating Mr. Allen since mid-April. According to police, text messages between Mr. Allen and the minor were taken as evidence, as well as statements from the minor and a witness that showed an illegal and inappropriate relationship had taken place between Mr. Allen and the minor. Allen was arrested at his home and was booked in a Marin County jail, where he's being held without bail. On Wednesday in the town of Healdsburg at about 6:15 in the evening, multiple gunshots rang out in the Russian River's Badger Park shoreline area. According to the report, a group of teens had gathered in the area and an altercation broke out, which started as a verbal argument that quickly escalated into a physical fight between the two groups of teens, when one of them pulled out a gun and began shooting. When police arrived, the teens scattered, but the officers were able to apprehend one of the suspects, who was a 17-year-old male. When the officers searched the teen's shoulder bag, they found a loaded handgun, but the officers determined that this teen, even though he had a handgun, was not the shooter. Detectives began searching the shoreline and located several spent shell casings from the gun that was fired, which were taken in as evidence for the investigation and finding the actual shooter. Thankfully, no reports of anyone being hit by any of the rounds was reported. The 17-year-old that they had in custody was transported to juvenile hall for gun-related charges. According to the police, this was a gang-related incident between 2 rival gangs and not a random incident between unknown people. The investigation is ongoing to locate the individuals involved. Up near the town of Cloverdale, detectives have been working on locating a suspect who's wanted for several arson cases throughout the area. On Wednesday, they were on patrol to locate the suspect in the Geyser Road area near the Sonoma and Mendocino County line, where they saw a woman in a pickup truck parked along the roadway, so they stopped to ask her if she had seen a man matching the description of the suspect, who's identified as 29-year-old Luke Duramo, a transient in the area. The woman said she hadn't seen him, but that she would call them if she did. Well, that didn't take long, because about 30 minutes later, the woman spotted the suspect coming out of a nearby brushy area off the side of the road, and then he proceeded to jump in the back of her truck and then refused to leave after she yelled at him to get the heck out. But that wasn't enough for him, because next, he decided to take a rock and start vandalizing her truck. When he was done vandalizing it, he jumped out and disappeared back into the brushy area where he had first come from. The woman called police to let them know what had just happened. A short time later, smoke began coming up from the brushy area where the suspect had disappeared into, so the fire department was called, who came out to put the fire out. Now, both the police and investigators from CAL FIRE were at the scene, conducting an extensive search to locate Mr. Duramo. A bit later, he was spotted about a mile south of where he had just set the fire, where he was taken into custody. He was booked into Sonoma County Jail on charges of multiple arson incidents and was given a bail enhancement to the amount of $1,121,000. In Rohnert Park on Tuesday morning, a CHP officer patrolling Highway 101 spotted a man in a pickup truck driving northbound into commuter lane during commuter hours who appeared to be alone. To legally use that lane, you need 2 or more people in your vehicle, or you can get a ticket, hence the word people. I'll come back to that in a moment. So when the officer walked up to the driver to ask him why he was in that lane at that time, he noticed that there was indeed a passenger in the truck. Well, it wasn't actually a real passenger, but rather it was the passenger seat that was outfitted with a safety vest, along with a hard hat, goggles, and a mask set up on the headrest, hoping that it would fool an officer into believing that a person was sitting there so he could use that lane during commuter traffic hours. But this officer actually had good vision and could see quite clearly that this was not a person at all. The driver was handed a ticket for using that lane when he wasn't supposed to be using it, which carries a hefty $490 fine. This isn't the first time that someone has tried to beat the system, though. There have been many stories of people using everything from mannequins to Halloween masks fitted with sunglasses on them in order to make it look like a person was sitting in the passenger seat so they could get away with not having to sit in traffic. But sooner or later they get caught, and it's an expensive lesson. On Tuesday, just before 6:30 in the evening, a man identified as 40-year-old Omar Ahmad was riding a Golden Gate Transit bus and decided to cause a disturbance by yelling out that this bus was his, and then he proceeded to urinate in the back of the bus as it was traveling down the road. But that wasn't all. He also decided to steal the bus driver's backpack. Police were called, who met up with the bus as it made its stop at the Alexander Avenue bus stop. But Mr. Ahmad wasn't done yet, because when the officers tried to take him into custody, he pulled out a wooden table leg and began threatening the officers with it, which prompted the officers to give Mr. Ahmad a spicy taste of pepper spray, which convinced him to stop what he was doing, which allowed the officers to take him into custody. Mr. Ahmad was able to continue on his journey, except this time it wasn't on a bus, but rather in the back of a police car with a new destination of the Marin County Jail, where he was booked on charges of robbery, obstructing officers, and unruly behavior on a public transportation, with a bail set at $75,000. On Sunday morning, a tragic motorcycle accident occurred that took the life of a beloved mother and church member from Mendocino County's Redwood Valley area. This tragic incident took place at about 11:15 in the morning along Highway 20, when the woman, who was identified as 57-year-old Michelle Hatcher Burnt, accidentally miscalculated a turn along the highway and hit the raised curb, which caused her bike to throw her off and tumble down a steep embankment. Another rider along that road at the same time had a medical background, so they stopped and began to help by performing CPR on her until medical crews arrived. But tragically, she succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced deceased at the scene. Our condolences go out to her family. This broadcast is sponsored by Mike Larbury Automotive. 5-star ratings for all of your domestic and import automotive repair needs, located on Highway 12 in Sonoma. Mention you saw them here on KORK TV to receive a special discount. And also by Sonoma Paint Center, your source for all of your home and automotive paint and supply needs.
Transform your home or business with Sonoma Paint Center. As your local Benjamin Moore retailer, we've got everything you need to paint inside and out, plus top quality stains. Step inside our Santa Rosa location or visit us in Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now our newest location in Napa. From vibrant colors to durable finishes and required supplies, we'll help you bring your vision to life. Sonoma Paint Center, serving you at Santa Rosa, Sonoma, Sebastopol, and now Napa. Sonoma Paint Center, color your world.
Well, that's it for our weekly wrap. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We'll see you again on Monday for our weekend wrap. Remember, you can watch us on our website at KORKTV.com or on our YouTube channel. Just search for KORK North Bay TV. And if you watch us on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to us. We'd sure appreciate it. We'd like to wish everyone a safe, happy, and healthy weekend. Thanks for watching.